Small Town Minds.
Hello
Hello,
again.
everybody.
Oh,
Whoa, welcome to Small Town Minds, episode 2. Wow. Lots to talk about this week, eh, Braden? Matt?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was ready to go. That's why I jumped the gun a little bit there.
Uh,
No, a ton to talk about. Um,
all right. I'll let one of you guys kick it
Yeah.
off. What do you got on your mind?
I'm ready to get the deuce going also, but I'll let one of you guys kick it off.
Braden?
um. So something I've been talking about with a good friend of both of ours, Mr. Michael Tuck. Um,
Hmm.
been going back and forth with him, and as we were talking about, and like the when we hopped on here before we started recording, this will probably lead into a lot of things. But as of this recording, I think it was what 3 days ago, 4 days. A very popular, what would you call him?
Influencer slash
Media.
podcaster?
Yeah, yeah,
Media. Influencer,
Yeah,
I would to a
influencer.
degree.
yeah. Charlie Kirk. We call it what it is: murdered, assassinated, whatever you want to say. At a event in Utah. Um, I'll let one of you guys take it. Lot to unpack. So
Whoa,
yeah,
whoa, whoa. Yeah, I mean, thinking about this, it's insane. If it is something that was politically fueled, then we do have a lot of problems. I don't, I wouldn't celebrate anyone's death. It's this is awful. The fact that it occurred at all is an awful thing. I understand that he probably did carry a lot of folks who he invoked hate in. I heard several things, but I've only heard tidbits, so I can't say everything that he ever said was wrong. But there were some things that he said that it hurt my heart to hear people say aloud. So, but I don't understand anyone who wants to start conversations about people celebrating it. And if they are celebrating it, then I would think they need to check their heads. That was a lot.
yeah,
Next person, please.
yeah.
So I can
No,
shut up.
no, you're good. I completely agree. I think if you remove the red and blue conservative liberal, get those labels out of the way. He was a husband. He was a father, and now that family is just completely destroyed. I don't think it helps anything. It does deeply concern me where we are uh, in the country. Um, apparently, they got the guy, 22-year-old, I believe, Tyler Robinson, is what's being reported. Um, and we can get a little bit more into the details that have come out in the past couple days since they've got him. Um, it's a sad situation. To your point, Matt, there was a lot I didn't agree with, and like yourself, tidbits, because admittedly, that's not typically the content that I venture towards. So it's typically
Agreed.
not on my feed, but I see clips. So I yeah, I don't know. What say you, Mike?
Well, first off, uh, a week ago, I barely knew the name Charlie Kirk. I had seen a few clips here and there. Obviously, the biggest thing I saw was South Park making fun of him. I didn't follow him. I didn't know that much about him as a person. Obviously, what happened was horrendous, just very tragic, and for his family to see that and stuff, and everybody to witness it, in live and in person, is very traumatic. And for people obviously around the world who's now seen it, it's very much a shock. to the nation as a whole. Now that being said, now we're talking about the things that he said. Now, yeah, I mean, he obviously look. I mean, everybody's got some light and dark. I think. I mean, did he probably say a lot of great things and do a lot of great things for a lot of people? I'm sure he did. But he at the same time he said a lot of deplorable things. And I'm going to give you a few examples here. He did quote the Bible saying that gay people should be stoned to death. Um, he said something about people should be scared if they see a black pilot on a plane. He said women should reject feminism and submit to their husbands. He said people shouldn't be allowed to retire. Leftists shouldn't be allowed to move to red states. Um, he said the guy who assaulted the Nancy Pelosi's husband should be bailed out. Called the guy who did it a patriot. Um, religious freedom should be terminated. Um, Martin Luther King was an awful person, and he was going to show that. Um, Stuff about vaccines, but and of course, gun deaths are acceptable in order to have the Second Amendment was one of the big things that he preached. So I mean, there was a lot of things, and the list goes on. And this is not necessary. This isn't hearsay, and you can look up these videos and see him talking and podcasts and stuff. I mean, he said a lot of stuff. This is just some things that he said, but this was things that came out of his mouth. Now, I mean, we all say things, but I mean, he used his platform for this. Is what I'm saying. Now, was it a way just to
Yeah.
make money? Maybe it was. I don't know if it's really what he really felt. Maybe it was just something, a money making machine for him. I don't have a clue. I'm just saying he put that out there into the world. And so that's why you get in turn these people who feel the way that they do about him. And we talked about a little bit last time on the episode 1 about how we live in two different realities. We're not on the same page and stuff. And so what you have is you have these people who didn't like the guy, didn't like his beliefs and stuff, and they're not going to mourn him because they didn't agree with him and stuff. And then you got obviously the people who followed him and loved him and stuff, and that's obviously mourning him the most. But and then you got just America in shock as a whole. And I think with people that are empathetic, they can say, hey, this is obviously a terrible thing that happened to anybody. Not that it's just him, but just anybody, kind of a deal. But I'm going to tell you, it's kind of wild. I think sometimes we have to be careful who we make martyrs. And
Yeah,
and
for
and,
sure.
and, and when I say that, it's like, and especially now because I don't know what history is going to look like when we're talking about this sort of stuff because we have such a division. It's going to be whoever writes the history books, right? Because I mean, if you look at like
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln, well, I'm sure that not everybody thought he was a martyr at the time, right? But I think maybe it was the overall consensus. You know what I mean? Same thing
Yeah.
with John F. Kennedy. Now we're either these people like spotless humans without sin or whatever. I'm not going to say that. I'm not saying that they were infallible, you know. But what I'm saying is that it seemed like it was sort of a given. And again, we didn't live in those times, so maybe it wasn't. But I'm just saying now the country is so divided that it I don't think that you should be astonished to see these people react the way that they do in certain ways. Now, are people being a little bit overboard with it? I think that they are, being insensitive to a certain degree. But you have to understand that, this guy did say that the guy who beat the one guy, the Nancy Pelosi's husband, he should be getting out and stuff. So he's kind of said a lot of this stuff. So it's kind of hard to for them to understand on the one side, to understand the other side. Both sides really can't get they really can't fathom what the other one's feeling because of the way that they're just totally different. But it's wild to see all these people getting their jobs lost because of it. To see all these different people like literally just losing their jobs over it. That's pretty wild. But like I said, the whole thing with the martyr thing, it's really wild. And look, I don't know. Like, I didn't agree with making George Floyd a martyr, in its own way. What happened to him was also tragic, but I didn't think that, you know what I mean? So like, but like, I
Yeah.
mean, they're really going off with this. But look, I mean, we had a president who came out and said the radical left, and he didn't try to unify anything. He just really tried to bring it apart even more. So which is going
Yeah.
to create it even worse. But like you have people. I mean, even in my town, there was a candlelight vigil for Charlie Kirk. They have a petition online right now to try to make a Memorial Day specifically for Charlie Kirk. They have over 65,000 signatures right now. While I do think it's tragic, I want to throw some numbers at you. Now, this guy advocated, in his own words, gun violence. He said it was necessary. Now, and you know, but now look, let's look at some of these statistics, okay? Let's look at some mass shootings. So mass shootings in the last few years. 2020, we got 610. 2021, we had 689. 22, we had 642. 23, we had 660. Last year, we had 503. And so far this year, although probably more by now, 302. That's mass shootings. That's just mass shootings, okay? Um, I mean, there's a lot. There is a lot. Let's look at the from the Centers of Disease Control, the amount of people who died from gunshot wounds in 2023. Let's see how many there were. There was over 46,000 in America. All right, and last year there was there was over 44,000 people that died uh, from guns. Okay, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So when you look at, I mean, look, I'm not even going to try to skid around the fact that there is the Alanis Morissette size irony to this. Okay, but again, it is a very hot button in the country right now, for sure.
So, uh, again, a lot to unpack there. I do want to touch on again the young man that did this, because there's some details there that have came out that I think we definitely need to touch on. But since you brought it up, gun violence, we talked about that on episode 1. Unfortunately, I believe if you check the tape, I said something to the effect that it'll happen again, because I think we did that shortly after a school shooting.
Mm-hmm.
There was also, on this same day that Charlie Kirk got killed, another school shooting in Colorado.
Colorado. Yep. Colorado.
So,
Luckily, nobody died, but yes.
yeah. So, and this is something myself and Mr. Tuck have been texting back and forth about gun control. I brought it up on episode 1. It is a little bit of a buzz term. I don't know what that looks like. I'll continue to say that. I think it's a combination of mental health, the accessibility to guns in this country, how easily you can get your hands on a gun. Social media, I think, plays a part, because Charlie Kirk and the rhetoric and this, that, and the other. Social media. Probably, I don't know, I've heard parenting thrown around. Well, it's a lot of parenting. I'm not going to fully disagree with that. That I'm sure plays a role, but I'm not going to say as much as the other 3 factors. I don't know what the answer is. We're probably going to do nothing. And unfortunately, I'll say it again. I don't want to be a prophet, but it's probably going to happen again, because we've become desensitized to the fact that it's just a way of life. And I don't know. I don't know what we do. I don't know if it's an evaluation you take to own a gun, an evaluation you take as a gun owner, either annually, biannually, something. I don't know. Yeah, we got to try something, because, I mean, that's the definition of insanity, right? To do the same thing over and over, expecting
expect different results.
That's what we're doing,
Yeah.
and it is insane. And
Well, look,
yeah.
history repeats itself, like totally, completely, and this is just that case. Listen, there's a documentary that you guys need to watch. It's called The Killing of America. All right. And this is about excessive gun violence, assassinations, shootings, few serial killers, but mostly gun violence. This thing came out in 1981.
Mm, mm.
Um,
So nothing's really changing. It might be becoming a little bit more, excessive because of, and again, a lot of that's due to what you just mentioned. But yeah, it's great. You can't find it streaming or anything, but you can find it on the interwebs at the Internet Archive. That's where you can find it. But check it out.
Okay.
You'll be like, this is exactly like today. Just amplified. But it just doesn't really change. We're always doing this sort of stuff, and we don't learn lessons really when it comes to this sort of stuff. So is anything going to change? No, I don't think so. Not really.
yeah, at least not in the direction it would be to stop other things
Oh,
from
well, right.
happening.
Yeah, it may increase. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
saying we might all one day each our own nuclear bombs, and then we'll just see what happens.
Well, and a lot of people think the purge is something that we should actually have too. And it's like, okay, guys, like that's a little too much for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
So,
Well, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's like, when it comes to the president and everything, like he would like that, like to a degree, I think so. He wants everybody to be like-minded. So that's why it's like called out, in this sort of division where it's just like with this tragedy that happened for their side, they're not going to talk about gun control. That's not even going to be a topic. It's never going to be brought to the table with them. That's never ever going to be a part of the problem. It's always going to be the left. It's always going to be the left. And he would love to, Thanos snap his fingers and let them all be gone for sure. But
Well,
let's talk about that guy, Braden. Now, we've heard mixed things, since he got caught, but being left, being right, and all that stuff. What do you got?
so, and details are still coming out.
Hmm.
It's what, September 13th as we're recording, so more details may come out that may completely change what I'm about to say. Um, so it initially came out when this first happened. Well, it was somebody on the left, like you said, or it was a transgender. That was a real
Hmm.
big hot thing for the first 30 hours. And since then, apparently his family registered Republican. Several photos that came out of him with guns, raised up, knowing how to use guns. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but, and supposedly, so I've heard two different things. I've heard that he did start venturing down a radical left path. Um, and then on the other side of the spectrum is apparently he was really heavily involved in I guess you'd call it an online group, Groypers. I think
Yeah,
Groyper,
this is like the
which
extreme right, right?
Nick Fuentes is apparently one of the kingpins in it. He's a podcaster, and supposedly him and Charlie Kirk had beef.
Oh,
So I don't know the full extent, but I guess maybe Charlie Kirk wasn't extreme enough. I don't know. But apparently they were kind of rivals, even though they're both on the right. So that's kind of an interesting piece to the puzzle. And that kind of goes two things. That kind of goes to what I just mentioned, social media playing a part. I don't listen to the radio anymore. I listen to podcasts on the way to work. Admittedly, it's usually either, 9 times out of 10, a pro wrestling podcast, just because it's mindless. I can unwind on a drive to work, and I don't have to think about all this shit. And then two,
Create your own reality.
yeah, well, there you go. But you mentioned Trump would probably like to Thanos snap his fingers and have everybody be like-minded. I don't even know if they're eating themselves, and you've got some that aren't extreme enough. Like
Yeah.
what is like-minded? But I guess to kind of further the conversation a little bit, even past this, one of the things I text you guys about that I definitely wanted to talk about, and we kind of dipped our toe in the water last week, but the slogan, "Make America Great Again." Okay, well, what does that look like? That's been the $1 million question. So we're 8 months in to the second term, and I have never seen as much stuff transpire in 8 months of a presidency, just from legislation to constant headlines, day in and day out, and a genuine concern across the nation. One way or another, there's a tension. So, Matt, I'll ask you. I mean, is America great again?
I mean, we do have the Department of War back. I mean, well, I guess not technically the Department of War, but some people can call it that legally.
We
I
also
mean,
have the Gulf of America.
Well, that too, and with a nice dead spot in it, from what I understand. So, I mean, it's got to be getting better, right? I don't know. I've always really questioned that "Make America Great Again." Anyway, I mean, whose version of great? It is.
Yeah.
It's hard to fathom. I think this country, and everyone always, I guess I'll just blurt this out. A lot of people tell me I sound like a communist when I talk about it, but this country has the ability to make sure nobody goes hungry. Not to get into this in any form or fashion, but since I'm talking aloud now, I'll just go ahead and do it. You guys know that I grew up dirt poor. I mean, there was plenty of times when if Michael Johnson hadn't have fed me dinner, I wouldn't have had dinner that week or that night, whatever. I said week because typically I stayed with Michael Johnson for like
That's
a kid.
true.
Yeah. I know that was brought on because my parents had their issue going on. But no one should have to have that. We've got enough money. We've got jobs. We've got land. We've got houses. There's houses rotting because people aren't living in them. And then we're getting to a point now that we're also not able to afford the homes being built anymore. So it's I don't know. Great again is not what I would call it.
Well, it's more uneven, I think, more now than ever, and we're seeing it on such a level. You're talking about people
Yeah.
being hungry. We're talking about people being hungry, and Elon Musk is on track to become a trillionaire, possibly a trillion.
Yeah.
I mean, can we even fathom that? Like, there's so many people struggling, making minimum wage, barely getting by. Some people not getting by. More homeless people than ever. Uh, More people out there begging, doing stuff. Taking on extra jobs. So many people working themselves to death, really. 2 or 3 jobs, side gigs and whatever that they have to do. Is that great? I don't think that's great. Prices, everything going up constantly. Food, these tariffs are affecting even more so. I mean, but hey, gas has stayed the same relatively. So
Gas
I
has
guess
stayed the
there's
same.
that.
Yeah.
There's that.
Yeah.
Gas has stayed the same.
Even though for 4 years we had to hear about the fucking price of gas as if the president pulled a fucking lever, and now you don't hear a goddamn peep out of them, and it's basically the same price, has hovered around the same price.
And if somebody invested in it and is making a whole lot of money out of it, it's why it's not changing. Sorry, that. Well, I should have just left that in there.
No. So to kind of piggyback a little bit from what you were saying, Matt, and I mentioned this to somebody. I was even prior to all this craziness, just at the inauguration. You had Jeff Bezos, you had Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, the fellow from Google. I can't remember his name right now. Powerful people, billionaires
Mm-hmm.
sitting front row.
Mm-hmm.
That told me all I need to know. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
oligarchy is what.
Yeah,
And
yeah, it's
uh, you had some stats and figures. So at that same inauguration, he said the golden age of America is back. The first 8 months of 2025, the U.S. has added 598,000 jobs. The same time frame in 2024, 1.1 million. So essentially half. Unemployment rate has climbed a little bit, I think from like 4.1 to 4.3. And on the jobs thing, that big, beautiful bill that they somehow got pushed through,
Mm-hmm.
going to cut Medicare. Or I'm sorry, Medicaid, but I have heard that they are after Medicare. There's already been hospitals that are having to shut down because of that. It's going to cut certain programs. You brought up Elon Musk, and I mentioned this to Tuck. I said, what the fuck did he do when he was up there just wilding out with, a head full of ketamine and just fucking with a chainsaw and talking shit in the Oval Office? Like, what the fuck did he do? Get rid of USAID? I think they cut FEMA. And got rid of God knows who else in other jobs. And I'm not saying on the surface, trimming the fat, okay, that was what they were wanting to do. Cool. I'm sure we've got some government bloat and government waste. But
Sure.
the way it was went about is insane. Just none of it made any sense. He had some fucking college kids, hackers that were the Doge team that God knows what they had access to. And now he's just gone. Whatever. He's deuces. And to your point, now he's on his way to being a trillionaire. So with what information he was able to get and then that much money, I mean, he's a fucking supervillain. But no, sorry.
I get it. I get the thought. I mean,
Yeah. But I mean, I'm half joking, half serious. Like, none of what has happened in these first 8 months has been normal. I took U.S. government in high school, paid attention enough to pass, but even I remember how basic government's supposed to fucking work. And it's just, I was talking to, I'll name drop somebody else, Cliff, today. And we were talking about some stuff, and he brought up a point like, you can't ignore this anymore. Like, none of what it is so, even if you don't seek it out, it still pops up in your news feed. Like a headline,
Well,
something,
now
because
maybe.
nothing is fucking normal.
Well, but it depends on your algorithm, man. Because if you're seeing, you know what I'm saying? Because I'll mention some things that
True.
to certain people that have an extreme view, right? And I'll say, "Did you hear about this?" And no, I haven't heard about that because it's either more left or centrist or something, and they're like, oh, no, I haven't heard that. So maybe you saw, maybe you didn't. You never know. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree that the Doge thing was just a front to get rid of certain programs. That's all it was. It was just to selectively get rid of people that they want to get rid of and call it trimming the fat. They really weren't actually there to like get rid of the excess. It was just to target certain things that they didn't want involved in the government. We got a lot more to talk about
Okay.
though, guys. So you want to jump to another topic, or
For
you want
sure.
to continue? All right, all right,
Wait,
all right. So let's talk about martyrdom and martyrdom. With Charlie Kirk and everything, how they were trying to make him that. Well, even before this happened, like a few days before, did you see that where these millionaires were given millions of dollars for people to go paint the murals of this poor girl that got killed in Charlotte? They were they were giving people millions of dollars to go to prominent cities to paint murals of her. Did you guys see that?
I did not see that. That is
Well,
wild.
no. So it was one guy. I can't remember his name. He was given like, I think he was only given like 50K, 500K, I think. But then Elon Musk jumped in with 1 million. Andrew Tate jumped in with apparently 1 million to paint murals of this girl. And again, I mean, what happened to her was absolutely tragic. Uh, terrible thing that happened to her. She came over here from Ukraine. This and, and then got stabbed on a was it a bus or a train? It was a train in
Think,
North
oh
Carolina,
yeah,
Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, if you watch that video, I mean, it's pretty tragic and everything, and it is tragic. But again, I just told you about the shooting deaths. I mean, there's so many things that happen tragically, but the president wants to focus on this. And I get it. It's because she's a pretty blonde and she got stabbed by a black guy. And it is terrible what happened. But it is one of a, a million. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, this happens all the time. But the focus of it
Yeah.
is a hot topic because of certain different things. And I think the race thing is part of it. But did you guys see the aftermath of that? I think I sent that video. Did you guys watch that?
of the
Can't say that I
stabbing.
understood it.
Yeah,
The it was the aftermath of the stabbing. It was when like she was doubled over in pain, and then all these people were just sitting there. Actually, some of those people behind him were actually getting up and going in the direction of the perpetrator. I mean, I guess I'm assuming he went to another car, or got off, or something. But like they were going toward him. But especially the lady next to her, like just looked over, saw it happening. After it happened, just sit there for a few minutes, got up and left. What do you guys think about that?
Okay, then what I thought I was seeing was what it was. Like honestly, when I watched the video, I didn't quite understand exactly what I was seeing.
Okay.
Um, yeah, that was. I would like to think that I would have done something, but I really don't know what I would have done in the moment too. And
Well, there were
yeah.
people that did come after that, like after that, but it was just those initial people just like,
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I've seen people arguing uh, at the store or at a mall or something, and I'm just like, nope. So to Matt's point, I can't say that I would have just probably noped out of the whole situation too. Like even though you're, it's that what is it, fight or flight instinct of like
hmm
I've got to protect myself. Now, is
okay.
that the right thing? No, but it's also human nature to an extent.
Well, sure, I can see what you're saying, but we're not talking about a fight in the mall. We're talking about a girl who got stabbed a bunch, is bleeding out. The
True, true.
perpetrator's already the perpetrator's already left, so he's not there to stab you again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he's not in the
Now,
vicinity to come. Like maybe he could come back, but I'm just saying like I mean, did some of these people get up and go tell somebody else? Maybe, I don't know, but I'm just saying it
Yeah.
did look a little callous, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. And so I'm trying to run back through it in my head, and I thought if it was what I was watching was correct, I thought he actually stood at the back end of that trolley for some time, but
Well, I
I
don't
could
know. I
have.
don't know because it kind of cuts a different feed, and he was like moving around. So maybe,
Okay.
maybe
Okay.
I really can't say for sure. But all I know is I don't think so. And the reason I don't think so is because, like I said, those people got up and went toward him, toward his direction. You know what I mean? Which
Mhm.
to me definitely wouldn't seem to be the case to do. You know what I mean? But again, they're all just
Hmm.
totally ignoring her, and that is tragic. That is a tragic thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Uh,
scary. I mean, those are the types of things you see in movies that you are like, oh, those types of things don't really happen, but they do. You know.
Yeah.
mhm. All right. On a lighter note, let's move to some lighter topics for a little bit. We'll get back to some heavier stuff in a little bit, I guess. Let's go into some music. Brayden was telling me about some music I said we need to check out. Lady
Uh,
Gaga.
Lady Gaga. I am a Lady Gaga fan. Not ashamed to admit it. I She's one of those artists that I can listen to more of her catalog than I can't. There is some of the poppier stuff that she has that I don't particularly care for, but um, I sent you guys a video from I think it was Stephen Colbert. She was on there the other night, and just absolutely phenomenal voice. Um, but she's on a tour now. She's in Wednesday, season 2.
Mhm.
I I don't know, like what you listen to the new album, Mike, and
Yep.
I said I would wait because I think it's terrific. Really strong album in my opinion. But yeah, what was your thoughts?
Well, I alluded to it a little bit, but my initial thought was I got into a time machine and went back to the 80s because I feel like that there is a lot of influence there from like Madonna, Michael Jackson, maybe a little Paula Abdul in there. Some of these beats, especially, there's
Mhm.
a good feel of that. Now, there's a lot of her own voice and a lot of modernization with it as well, but I do feel a lot of heavy influence there from the 80s on quite a few of these songs. No, I mean, I listen to it all. Yeah, I like it. I really like this. I thought it's pretty good. I mean, overall, I think she does stuff really well. Certain ones, killers. She crosses this line really well because she has like pop. She's got the pop. She does a little rock stuff too, but she does also, she has this darker side that she does. She does the horror stuff. She has Zombie Boy, The Dead Dance, which is obviously kind of, I feel like kind of a little bit of a thriller homage to
Yeah.
a degree. And then, all this kind of stuff. And songs like On How Bad Do You Want Me is just great. But no, I think
Yes,
she's
that's my
great.
favorite.
I don't know if she'll ever have like the super catchiness of her first few albums, like obviously like Just Dance, Poker Face, and Bad Romance and stuff. But yeah, I mean, this is a solid album. As far as her herself, I think she's fantastic. I really like. Um, I do like a lot of her music. I like her acting. I thought she did great in American Horror Story, Hotel, in Stars Born. Wednesday was fine. Even Joker 2. Now we haven't talked about Joker 2, Braden, but I thought she was great in it. I would have loved to seen a Harley Quinn movie. That's never going to happen, but I thought she did great in it.
Hmm.
Matt, Matt, you
I
like
haven't
her?
listened to the album. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I like Lady Gaga. Um, Great music, great actor.
yeah.
Uh,
Did you guys watch Joker 2? I know you did, right? You did.
I actually have not
Okay,
watched Joker 2. But I did watch the American Horror Story, and we just watched Wednesday as a family this week. So
cool, cool. All right.
uh,
Then, Braden.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The next album Braden told me to what to listen to was Tyler Childers. Is that right? Tyler Childers,
Yeah,
Snipe Hunter.
Tyler Chip.
All right.
Yep. So this is
Now,
kind of along. I guess you would classify it somewhat country,
what's that?
Americana.
Underground? Okay, I was thinking like underground
Yeah,
country or something, right? Is that is
yeah,
it? I don't even know
yeah.
this stuff. So.
Like, yeah, yeah. Him, Sturgill Simpson. Could probably lump Stapleton in there a little bit, even though he's a little bit more mainstream. But no, this album was produced by Rick Rubin, and it does have a different feel from his other albums. Uh,
Okay.
to me, some of the beats were a little bit more rock, hip hop. Um, Not full fledged, of course, but it. And I don't know if you listened to any of it yet, but I feel like they really tried a few things. Like I was pulling up the track listing here because I can't remember. Onita, I thought was really good.
I
Um,
like that one. Yeah, I like that one too. The three I wrote down was Anita, Biting List, and the Getting to the Bottom. Those were the three that I liked. There was a few others. I mean, yeah, I liked it overall. Overall, I mean, it was. I mean, I didn't love it or nothing, but I mean, listenable. Yeah.
I
You,
and I got into him probably 4 or 5 years ago. Um, and I think he's been around since the mid 2010s. So yeah, he's got a decent back catalog as well. Um, no, solid artist, very solid artist. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll
definitely.
definitely check that one out.
Definitely.
I like the older stuff that I've heard from him, or maybe not all of it, but a lot of it. To me, he reminds me a lot of the John Prine style era of
yeah,
music, and I'm a huge John Prine fan. But I think he's an excellent writer, and I like a lot of the quirkiness and the music that he comes up with. It feels like how I feel a lot of times.
I'd never heard of it until Brady mentioned it. So, but yeah, that's
I must have missed that text. I apologize, guys.
oh,
that's
you're
good.
good.
Up next, let's talk about a few movies here. Braden wanted to talk about K-pop, the Demon Hunter, Demon Hunters, I guess.
Uh,
This wild thing.
yeah, yeah.
It's really
This,
crazy because and
yeah,
look, K-pop has taken over the nation, and I've known this for a while because my daughters are into it. But yeah, it's been growing in popularity for like the last few years. Like last time I went to Target, like pretty much most of their selection, what little they have left, was K-pop. Believe it or not,
yeah.
Taylor Swift and K-pop. Taylor Swift, Morgan Wallen, and K-pop. Okay. Uh, but yeah, so when this came out, I knew my girls would like it, and they watched it. But you know, and the funny thing I thought was amazing was the thing came out on Netflix and was out on Netflix for weeks at a time. I don't know how long it was out, and then they released it in the theaters, and it went number one. And it's like
Oh wow.
it's the first number one movie for Netflix in theaters, which is crazy.
And see, I didn't realize that until you told me. Yeah, so a guy at work, uh, his kids are a tad older than mine. Still, I think both of them are under 10. So he was like, "Man, K-pop Demon Hunters, has your kids watched it?" I'm like, "No." So we were eating dinner, and I'm like, "All right, let's throw this on. Let's see what this is about." And they lost their fucking mind, and I'm like, "All right." The the music, the music is.
It's an
good.
earworm.
It's
It's an earworm, though.
it's so
It's in him.
I think it's, let me make sure I've got this right. One, two, three, four of the top 10 songs on the Billboard Top 100 are from this soundtrack. Um, and they've actually got the number one song right now, Golden, from that soundtrack. Your
It's
Idol
crazy.
is sitting at number five, Soda Pop number six, and How It's Done is at number nine. They're playing it on the radio. It's, I think there's already, I, I heard they greenlit a sequel. I don't know
Oh,
if that's true or
you
not.
know they did. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But it is astonishing at how it's just blew up.
Yeah.
Not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. Like the story is solid. So I don't know. It's a phenomenon right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just goes to show that sometimes it doesn't matter if you can watch it at home and watch it, I guess not technically for free, but some people consider it for free if you have the service. But when it blows up like that and you can go to the movies, they want to just experience it there. You know,
Yeah.
a little bit different. But when Five Nights at Freddy's came out last year, I thought, or it was 2 years ago, I thought that it wasn't going to do that well because it came out the same time on Netflix, or I'm sorry, on Peacock streaming. So I thought, well, this probably isn't going to do that well. Everybody's going to watch it on TV. That's where we're watching it right now. And lo and behold, it became the biggest Blumhouse movie ever
Hmm.
in the theaters. So yeah, it just goes to show. I mean, if there's enough uh, want to see the movie, that people will go watch movies in the theaters. I think it's just that
Oh yeah.
they're just mostly doing dribble and sequels and stuff, and people just aren't that interested in middle line. That's why a lot of people
Yeah.
aren't going to the theaters. But yeah, so that was yeah,
Oh, there's this.
that's one. What's that,
I was
Matt?
gonna say, being in a theater is a very special feeling, you know. So I mean, it adds to it for sure. I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
us
I mean,
going and watching the 99-cent movies, you know, like
yeah,
stuff that I'd seen 20 times, and I'd still pay 99 cents
sure.
just to go sit in the theater and watch it, you know.
Yeah,
Yep.
sure. Well, I think it's gonna get a little bit more lost with each generation. You know, it's not gonna be as important, but yeah,
Yeah.
there's still the market there for sure. But let's go back to the small screen again, back to Netflix. Unknown Number, The High School Catfish. Matt, take it away.
Oh, wow. That one was very mind blowing. You know, I didn't realize that my family had watched it a few days before, you know, we chatted about this one through text. So I had saw a few bits and pieces as I was walking in and out of the room
Mhm.
um, before I watched it. And then I watched it and I was like, holy hell. Um, this is pretty crazy. Like, I think about some of the things that I remember from conversations with me and my mother. Um, and it seemed like she didn't remember huge swaths of when I was a child and things of that nature. And maybe that's kind of what was going on in that lady's mind, but can't fathom how anyone could do that to their own child. That's
Yeah. Did,
special.
did did you watch this, Fred?
I did not. It was on my
No.
list, and I
Well,
I haven't watched it as of
spoiler
yet.
alert.
We won't get too heavy into it then, but you do need to watch it. But yes, it is insane what transpires. Uh, and but honestly, it's been meme heavy. I'm sure you've seen the memes, right? If you're on social media at all, as far before these recent tragedies and stuff, that was the whole thing that I saw all the time. There was the memes. I
Yeah.
mean, I think there's a lot of, going back to your topics, your hot topics, Matt. I think there's a lot of mental illness here at play.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of sadness. The daughter's reaction to it is really sort of wild to me. Just because I know mine would be the flippant opposite, you know. I think I think my middle fingers would be in the air, you know, where it's totally
Yeah.
different. Um, but the fact that the fact that the mom was okay to come on this documentary and do this is that it's in itself is pretty telling about the mental illness and how wild it is, and how just the whole well, I didn't do the first couple, like somehow that negates anything. I don't know, like, but
Yeah. Yeah. You carried it on for years afterward.
and obviously there's a lot of speculation that it was more about the boyfriend than anything was the main
Yeah.
reason. But it's so wild that that's how people are these days. And we're talking, and you have to keep in mind that we live in an age where people aren't themselves. You know, the
Yeah.
internet, the internet. Well, they say that you're your real self behind the mask, and I guess that maybe it is your real self, but it isn't the self that you would portray to people in person. So
Yeah.
if this is her real self, it's pretty ugly. But I think that like we have to be really cautious when we're doing things online. It's like you when you think that you're being secretive, but like it's never really secretive. And I know it always usually comes to light, but the
Yeah.
fact is, it's like with to do that to your own child though is again, I'm sorry, Braden, that is some spoilery stuff for it, but um,
You're good.
it's disheartening to say the least.
Yeah.
Pretty wild stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
I would recommend that to anyone who hasn't watched it for sure.
Yeah, I think it was a good one. Yeah. Um,
Hmm.
let's go to the old Epstein files. Braden?
What Epstein files? Is that too early or too soon?
Too early.
So
Too early.
apparently, I guess the current sitting president was an FBI informant. But if
Oh,
he was an informant,
uh,
wouldn't that mean
mm,
he's seen something or was implicated? But wait, it's a Democrat hoax. So why would
well,
he be an FBI informant for a hoax?
mm.
And you know what? We should just quit talking about him.
Well, okay. I mean, I don't think we're going to
Not
quit
even that
talking.
interesting.
I don't think we're going to quit talking about him. But I mean,
No, no.
do I think that Trump's in there? Yes, absolutely, 100%. Do I think that Clinton's in there? Probably, absolutely. But what does it matter? I mean, look, I do like the idea of transparency. I do like the idea of like knowing things and not having these secrets. But of course, our government keeps secrets all the time. It's nothing new. But at the end of the day, if they actually did release whatever's in a file, would it all be there? For one, and if it was, what would the outcome be? I mean, we're not gonna. The president isn't gonna lose any points by his people. I mean, that's not gonna happen. He's already he has felonies. There's among other things. I mean, nothing is going to detract them from him, and this wouldn't either. And all he has to do is say, "I didn't really do it. It's a lie, fake news," and then that's over. It does not
Yeah.
matter. Let's talk about the birthday card a little bit. Anybody see the birthday card?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen the sketches,
What you think
or I
about
guess
that?
the picture of it. Um,
What do you think about
I don't even know how to answer that question. I think I maybe it was a haiku,
it?
just a bad one, you know. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
you
It's
know
kind of an
how
interesting
can I?
question.
Yeah, it's definitely worded in a way that seems extremely sketchy. Um, I'm definitely no handwriting analyst, but
Hmm.
from the pictures that I saw of the comparisons, it seems plausible.
Seems plausible. Yeah. Okay. The last line. A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. What do you think that's about?
So, and enigmas never age. I think
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah. I so you ask, why does it matter? Because the current sitting president certainly seems to have been directly involved with the largest pedophile child trafficking ring in American history. And if we knew he wasn't, I think that would be great. That's all anybody's asking. And I think that's what it boils down to. And it's the fact that they ran on him, as well as many in his cabinet, ran on releasing these files, and then have backpedaled and changed the story and said this and said that, and it's like, where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't know. Like it's yeah.
Yeah, there's things that we said no, but it's probably like everything else. Maybe we will eventually know, but we'll be too old to, if we're even still around, and the folks who will be left here won't necessarily know enough for it to be a big thing anymore.
True.
Well,
It's
maybe, but
maybe
well,
I could be
okay.
wrong.
I mean, obviously that, yeah, they thought. I don't know what they thought, but obviously they ran on that. But obviously, whenever they saw it, there's some people. It's either him or some very prominent people that they don't want to make public that's in there. But what do we even know about what's in there anyway? That's really all speculation. I mean, are we talking about detailed accounts of things? I mean, what do we know is even in the file? What does the file itself say? Who documented these files? He did. But what exactly is it saying? I mean, is it anything that's actually even something that would, you could actually charge somebody with? I mean, because we're talking about like just paper. I mean, are we talking, where's the people? You know, uh, do we have the people that can come forward with these sort of scenarios or no? Like, it's all just sort of speculation. But I no matter what, I think even if they released him tomorrow, it wouldn't change anything as far as him. And to your point, Braden, I really think that even if they said he was a pedophile, I don't think that would change anything for him as president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, that's just where I'm at with that. Um, so, let's talk about now, Braden. Uh, we did our last episode. We have a little country song at the end of the episode, and I said, "Hey, what do you think about that song?" And Braden was like, "Oh, yeah, that's pretty good." He's like, "Isn't it real?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I think it's real. I think it's real." I just got it off of Pixie Bay, which is just like royalty free stuff, and I was like, "Well, maybe." No, it's not real. It's not real. Um, I I looked. I did some deeper digging. It is by a person or whatever. It's called Atlanta Jordan. It's put out all of these songs. If you go on there and listen, and they're all AI generated. And man, there's a lot of good shit on there. And it's and, and it's like it is all different genres. Now, I don't know what they're using as far as the AI program, and I don't know how they're feeding it. I don't know if they're writing these lyrics completely, or if they're like saying, make a song titled it. You know what I mean? I do not know their process, but I thought this song was better than most country songs that I've heard in a while. Sorry. But like I said, every genre is different, and you can tell that it fits pretty good. Now, some of them are better than others, obviously, and some of them, maybe you could tell a little bit, but I don't know. I just think that it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And
Yeah.
that leads me to AI again. We talked about AI some last time, but like, where's it going? What are we doing? How are we going to coexist with it? My daughters give me shit because I make AI stuff, like our logos and stuff is all AI. And my daughters give me shit because they're both very talented artists. They draw extremely, extremely well. And for people that draw very well, they hate that shit. And I'm sure musicians, and stuff do too, yeah, and whatever. But it's like, at what point? I mean, where do we go with this? The genie's out of the bottle. We're not going back, you know. So there is no let's stop it. You know, it's here. It's a tool, just like I'm a tool. Um, you know, so we can.
Yes, you are.
So, I mean, we can use it to our advantage. I think. I don't think it doesn't necessarily replace great art, great artists, and it's not there yet overall. I don't think. But I mean, will it get there? Uh, you know, it's working pretty fast. The things that they can do with it now is pretty amazing. And these are just on like consumer level stuff, right? There's obviously way more powerful engines that we aren't allowed to access that you know can do tremendous things. But what do you think? Before I go into the rest of it with AI, what do you think about the art AI? Is it is it amoral? Is it something we should fight against, or should we just say, hey, this is we got to coexist here somehow?
We'll have to learn how to coexist regardless. That's my thought on that one. Um, Actually, I've been talking to a guy, and he's trying to learn how to use the AI to refine art that he's had AI make for him before to fit what he actually needs in better detail. So, I mean, there's courses online for you to learn how to make the statements that will make things go without getting really far into it. He writes children's books, but he doesn't illustrate. So he's trying to figure out how he can illustrate as he writes. Um,
Yeah.
and maybe he's asked for something to be in the picture, and for some reason it puts two when he only needs one
Mhm.
for the picture. So he's trying to learn that. So for those things like that, I can definitely see where it could be beneficial to
Mhm.
have that ability. But I
Yeah.
understand for someone who has the ability to illustrate that for them, that's a loss of a payment. But what if they don't have the means to get in touch with each other either?
Well, there's that, and also the poor people who can't afford it anyway. You know, I mean, that at least
Yeah,
gives them the advantage to do that sort of stuff. But you're
yeah.
right. You're right. It is, and we'll get to that in a second about jobs. But that is right. I mean, these people that have this as a career that are, you know, like maybe uh, you know, they're independent contractors that are just going around doing different uh, art projects and jobs. Yeah, I mean that could definitely take some of that work away. Brian, what do you think about any of this stuff?
Um, I hope we can step our game up uh, from a creativity standpoint. That's my hope is that we see what AI can do and we can step our game up. I think it's to Matt's point. I think there's some good uses out of it. If we use it as a tool and don't become reliant on it, and that's my
Hmm.
fear. And there might not be any avoiding that.
Well,
Well, I've used it to help me write speeches and emails and things of that nature. So I definitely, see it can make you lazy if you
mm,
let it.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And we've been moving toward that anyway with technology for the longest time, making
Yeah,
us lazy, right?
yeah,
To a certain degree. So, and this is a big jump for sure. Uh,
yeah.
uh, Real quick, do you guys know about that one Spotify AI band that got like millions of views here a while back? That,
I've heard
Uh,
about it. Yes.
Velvet
yeah,
something, or
Velvet, yeah, Sunset or something. Was it Velvet Sunset? I don't know. I can't remember.
I think so.
But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's like it really duped a lot of people, and then like, but really, I think it blew up because everybody heard of that it was AI and like, let's check it out. But yeah, that's wild. I mean, it is crazy that you can kind of almost fool people to a degree. Like I said, I really didn't know this small town static wasn't a real person until I dug deeper. So it can fool you to a point. So it's definitely getting better. So as it does get better, and as these people have told us and they've warned us and stuff, these jobs are going away. At least certain jobs are going away. What do you think about that? Is that something that we can stop, or what happens when it does happen? I mean, we're talking about a lot of different jobs, right? A lot of different jobs. And look, I mean, I think some things can be AI. Look, I don't really think that we have to have somebody at the intercom at McDonald's anymore. I mean, there is certain ones that are doing AI already. You know, I don't know why people aren't using their app. I've been using my app for years. I don't even talk to people. I just say, hey, I did that. You know what I mean? I don't even understand these people that do it anyway, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
that could be a thing. But like, the more and more this is going to happen, what is the future of jobs going to look like after we have AI replace all this stuff? Because we're talking about poverty and stuff earlier. It's like, when you have no job to go to, how are you going to live?
Oh yeah, that's definitely a fear. And I work in a very tech related area, and there's a lot of the things that I believe that companies are working toward allowing AI to kind of shift the workloads. I hope in those cases they're looking for ways to utilize people for bigger things. Um, but the reality is you might find that, oh, well, I had 17 people. Now I just need 4 because I can have this do all the rest. And that would be a detriment to our economy. Um, you said fast food, I'm thinking the tech world. I'm thinking industry also. You figure out how to make that forklift go grab its own stock and put it on the truck. And there you go. You don't need anyone to fill your warehouse.
Mhm. Well, a lot of things. I mean, we already have restaurants that have robots that take their food out to them and all that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't think AI is going to cook your food. So there's certain things I think that might be safe. But then again, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they talk about the robot arm. I don't know if you saw that or not, but apparently they have a robot arm they've built that flips burgers.
Flips burgers. Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
I
know
mean,
how expensive it is, but there's
right.
at least one I've heard.
There's at least one. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's going to change a lot of stuff. In that way, I mean, how does it become? I mean, how do you, as a company, employ AI and then you want people to buy your product, but nobody can buy it because they have no money? What does that look like?
Yeah, that's where you really come into the conundrum. But then again, we're going to start mining those asteroids, and we'll all be rich anyway, right?
Mining
Oh, hold on.
asteroids? Well, yeah,
Sorry,
sure.
was that was an old story, but I mean, I was making a joke there that we'll all be rich because of the fact that we've got AI doing all these things for us, and then they're just going to
Sure.
let the money rain down on us.
Oh,
We'll
yeah,
all be doing
definitely,
fine.
definitely. We can guarantee that's not going to be the case. That will. But speaking of asteroids, man, I think you had something you want to talk about a little bit.
Oh yeah, I'm very curious about the whole interstellar object that's apparently barreling toward. Uh, Maybe not toward Earth, but it toward through our solar system. Um, I know a lot of the photos that we're seeing come up, and I never know whether you trust a photo or not, but it looks like it may potentially have lights or some type of rocket propulsion behind it. And, it's wild to think about, and I know they're trying to at least online cause rhetoric about it. I can't say that I've really dug into this, guys. You know me. I don't really do the research. I just talk out my ass until I
Well,
say something that sticks.
two days ago, NASA debunked it about being an alien. They said it was just a comet. That's what
Okay.
NASA says.
But
And the guy who
yeah.
said it was a professor, that he claimed that he thought that that's what it was, or he assumed that that might be what it was because he felt like it looked like that there were more lights in the front instead of like a comet trail kind of deal. But apparently NASA says, yeah, it's just a comet, nothing to worry about, nothing to see here. So
And I believe everything NASA tells me. So, I mean,
until you're probed, your
yeah.
probe. Who knows? I mean, it is interesting to think about that sort of stuff. But yeah, again, you read stuff online all the time, and sometimes it's like, could it be real? Could it not? And you get stuff like that debunked all the time, or switched over. thrown a different loop. So you never really know for sure. I mean, I'm constantly reading stuff about astronauts and people that have came out about UFOs, or they don't call them UFOs anymore. What do they call them now?
UAPs or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, it's a little
Something.
different. They don't want to call it UFOs anymore because that's too corny, I guess. So yeah, yeah. But yeah, it always gets kind of pushed down for the bottom of it.
Yeah, and I forgot all about that unidentified aerial phenomenons.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
And
Yeah,
apparently
it's
there
like,
was one that was hit by a missile. I don't know how long ago, but the story came about 4 or 5 days ago. A Hellfire missile hit a UFO over Yemen, and the video, it just bounces right off of it. So
Ooh,
yeah,
takes off,
uh,
huh? Well,
I'm waiting for the aliens at this point. That's the
they need to
last.
come.
That's the last
They need
box
to
on my
hurry.
bingo card.
They
yeah,
need
there
to
you go.
hurry up. Hurry it up. Well,
There you go.
um, it's hard to say. I also think that we have other countries out there that are doing a lot more stealthier stuff than we are, and sometimes we get kind of a little bit of glimpses of that stuff too. So I guess you never really know for sure. But uh, who knows? Maybe we'll be visited soon. Maybe in November. All right, a couple more things I got real quick. Paramount's Skydance possibly buying Warner Brothers, merging it all together, becoming one big conglomerate. If this happens, this just leaves. Obviously, we'll have this big boy, the bigger boy, which is Disney, and then what? Little old Peacock. I mean, we don't have very much left, do we, Braden?
Uh, yeah, NBC Universal. Yeah, so you'd have it down to about three.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't like this, but I mean, it's all about greed.
Yeah, you sent the gif of the Monopoly Man when we were chatting about this one, and I was like, yeah, man, you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. It. I don't know. It's odd. Like it came out of nowhere when you sent that article. That was literally the first I'd heard about it. A lot of trickle down effects.
Yeah.
From I mean, they would own from a media rights deal, just sports in general, NFL, NBA, I think baseball, because TNT, TBS, they're under the Warner Brothers umbrella. So would they then go under Paramount, which has CBS,
Hmm.
Comedy Central, MTV, VH1. I'm probably forgetting some, but it would be half of your channel list on
Hmm.
whatever service you're using. I almost said cable, uh, but yeah, it is, and I think the idea behind that is to branch off and have their own service, kind of like
Right.
ESPN has just done with their $29.99. You get all of ESPN, and you can even bundle it with Hulu and Disney for like 35, $40 a month. And you do get a ton of content with just that. And I think I've said for the last, even on the previous show, and maybe even the one, when we were doing the pod years ago, sports is the last thing that's keeping cable afloat. If they take that away and you can still get sports with a $40 bundle that has all this other content, cable will be dead.
Yeah.
Well, this merger is kind of odd to me too, because as far as I know, I don't know that they're in a lot of financial distress over there. I mean, and that, maybe I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know if the streaming service is doing that well for them or not with HBO Max, but they've had over 7 movies that came out this year that garnered over $40 million at the box office each. they, especially with horror, man, they have racked up. Warner Brothers has this year alone. So it seems kind of odd that they would be like, oh yeah, just I don't know. It could be something I'm not seeing, but it just seems a little odd that people that are on full cylinder, they're on all cylinders, are really just looking to sell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little odd, but yeah, that will be crazy if that happens, and because then that's going to happen, and then Disney's going to buy them, and then we're all going to be, we're all going to be under the mouse. That's the
Yeah.
theory. Um, listen, I'm going to charge my phone real quick.
Mickey,
While I'm gone, Braden has a topic he wants to talk about. Braden, go ahead and hit Matt with the is it WWE?
Yeah.
WWE.
Yeah, start
So,
that.
yep. Meteorites. So I kind of alluded to it a little bit there. That live content is one of the last things that all these companies are going after. So earlier this year, Monday Night Raw debuted on Netflix. And I think that was a $1.6 billion deal, Netflix to get the rights to Raw. ESPN on their new streaming app that I just mentioned has all of the WWE pay-per-views or premium live events, I think they're called now.
Yeah.
That was a 4.7 billion dollar deal. They also got another. I I need to look this up. I was remembering them off the top of my head, but I think it was around 500 to 750 to stay on USA. Uh, they also have a deal with the CW network, and I don't know that one's a little bit less because it's strictly their developmental brand. And it is astounding to me, this art form that's part sport, part entertainment, that everybody, it's it's certainly niche, but is it though? Like I guess that's where I want to go with this. Is it kind of astounds me of how mainstream it's gotten to the point that you have some $7 billion in media right deals just this year alone. WrestleMania, anytime it comes to a city, $200 million worth of revenue for that city, and it's just this conglomerate of a art form that nobody watches supposedly, and it's passe, and it used to be good, but somebody's watching.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But
There's
yeah,
lots of people watching. Um, yeah. I didn't realize that there was that much money being thrown around. I saw a few articles, and I knew Mr. McMahon and his family are. There's lots of money rolling in. Has been for a long time. I haven't really watched wrestling a lot in 20 years.
yeah,
I did get stuck on the WWE game last year, which was really good.
yeah.
I played that for hours upon hours, and I finally had to put it down and quit it cold turkey. Luckily, I've been away from it now for a year. I feel good. I'm feeling good about myself. Um, and I watched oh Lord, WrestleMania
Yeah.
that year also. And it was, to me, there was still that spectacle. And I saw them in the big arena. But I started watching wrestling like in 84, 85. I was really young at the time, and I watched a lot of that stuff as it was first coming up, and I was really into it. I remember, wrestling with my stuffed animals
Mhm.
bed when I was a kid. So I could definitely see it, and I think it's always been in a lot of people's hearts and minds. And some people, once they get into it, they'll watch it every time it's available for the rest of their life. I know a lot of people who are really into it. Okay.
Yep.
Well,
Yep. That's me.
um,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Well,
I definitely
it's kind of
understand.
weird. There is like a big correlation with horror and wrestling. I know a lot of people who like wrestling that are into horror. I actually know quite a few people that are amateur wrestlers that are horror actors and involved in that too. So it kind of goes correlate with that. I mean, I've never been into it myself, but yeah, there's quite a few that are.
Yeah,
That
I
there's
know.
a saying, for those that love it, no explanation needed. For those that don't, no explanation will do. Um, in my mind, and yeah, I'm a nerd for the stuff, but it is the purest art form because it's you have a live microphone, 10, 15, 20,000 people, and you keep them right here. A lot of parallels between that and music, rock and roll, pop, whatever you want to call it. Um, and then everybody in that arena, stadium, whatever, knows it's fake, predetermined, whatever you want to call it, but they're invested. Uh, but no, it's to your point, Matt. Like it blows my mind that there is that much money, but it kind of goes back to what we were just talking about: live events, must see events such as a WrestleMania. Um, are kind of the tent pole of a lot of these streaming services, and the more of those you can get, uh, the more eyeballs you get. So
Right. 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 And that's the thing is that these companies, obviously they've been trying to compete with Netflix for a while. So the more that they get under their umbrella, the more that they can charge, cable prices again, and you'll have no other choice if you um, want to stream legitimately. So, uh, so yeah, it's that's the whole game is obviously to try to get enough content to make them make it seem worth it to you. You know, because a lot of people will go, well, I want this show, but I really only want this show and this one, so maybe I'll watch this show and then I'll let it go. But I like these shows on this one, so I want to watch this. But you know, the old days of just having like Netflix and that's all you had is over. So you you want to have sort of a one-stop shop, kind of like the Walmart of streaming, right? That's the goal for these places. So
oh, we got a guest
yeah,
appearance.
obviously the more the more content. Okay, let's hear your talk. Let's hear your take on it, Kitty. Um, the more
He
the
says, "I'm
more
getting the hell out of here."
it's like I don't like your topics. Um, yeah, the more of the content you have, the better, obviously, and the more that you can get as well to sign up for your platform. So, but that is crazy. That's wild. Yeah, obviously, wrestling is a big part of the entertainment staples. Um, it's not for everyone, um, obviously, but there's a lot of sports and stuff that I don't personally subscribe to that some people just absolutely love. So I'm sure a lot of things I'm into that most people would be like, "Ooh," So there's that. But yeah, there's definitely a market for it. So if you have a few people saying, I don't like it. I mean, yeah, that's their own opinion, but hey, it's not universal.
Yep.
Yeah. One little thing I wanted to touch on was AI concludes an external creator to be the most logical explanation, sorry, of a finite universe. Uh, now I saw this online and everything. I don't know if you actually uh, read that or not, but yeah, I mean, I read it. I actually did it. I did the prompt in a chat GPT, and it did kind of say the same thing. But if you actually read the whole thing, it doesn't. Okay, first of all, like religious people are using it to say, see, but it doesn't. It's not saying anything about religion. Okay, first of all, at all. It's really saying, it really kind of walks over itself because it's really the chicken and the egg conundrum, because it says that creation should have a creator, but it doesn't say how the creator was created. But all it says is that the intricacies of the world seems illogically to be just created, but it doesn't allude to like a creator itself, like as a god, but just that something could happen. And there's different theories within those theories and stuff. Did you guys read this at all?
So I did read it. And yeah, to your point, it didn't really allude to a religion or a god or anything like that, or that specifically Christianity, whatever you want to call it. But I don't know what I believe exactly. Something up there. I don't know if it's necessarily God, whatever, but I mean, there's something. I would like to think. I don't know what that is, but I'm sure, like you said, there's going to be a lot of people that glom onto this, and I see, but it's interesting. It certainly adds a new wrinkle to everything. So,
Yeah, yeah, and I read through it too, and I also didn't necessarily think that it was trying to point out that there was or was not. And honestly, it was AI answering a question, and it takes the information from your question and
Yeah,
turns it into something.
yeah,
So it wasn't a thought. I think it was more of a jumble of words that seemed to be logical from the question that was asked.
yeah,
right, right. Yeah, I mean, it basically was just saying. I mean, it proposed the Big Bang. It just said that basically something had to create the Big Bang, or
Yeah,
the implausibility. Which I mean, I feel like that's always kind of been a question. I mean, for me, I know that yes, Big Bang theory is in itself a theory, not a fact. And I mean, you guys know that I'm not religious at all, but um, I do think that could something have created that? But again, it goes back to the chicken and the egg. If the creator created it, what created the creator? It just goes down the line, you know. So that sort of stuff you could sit there all day, chasing your tail and be like,
mm,
what's where goes where, and and you're never really gonna really get to the bottom of it because we don't have the answers. We can only speculate on that sort of stuff, you know. But I
yeah,
think,
yeah. And
then,
I don't think we should put all of our stock in what AI is telling us.
oh no,
no, no,
AI, AI, yeah, no, not exactly Einstein over there, it's told some people
Yeah,
some
I'm
very,
not going to stand out on a soapbox and preach it. My AI
but
states
you,
that.
but some people will, no, I think.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, if it pays, I might. Sorry.
There you go. I break for AI. So,
Yeah, I
um,
break for AI.
you got anything else, Matt? You got any more topics? What you got?
I don't have anything else.
All right. What about you, Braden?
no. I'm nothing from my end.
All right. All right. Well, let's wrap it up. Let's just wrap it up for this week. That's been a lot of topics. So, yeah, let's just peace out.
Good talking to you guys.
See ya.
Crackling news on the old truck radio, preacher's voice, then a talk show blowing smoke. Neighbors fighting on the Facebook feed, saying more than they ever would in the street. There's small town static in the air tonight, buzzing like a fly on a neon light. I miss the hush of a front porch swing, Back when silence still meant something. Can't hear the crickets for the satellite. There's too much noise in this quiet life. Trying to tune it out, but I can't quite shake this small town static.